All right, so I know it's been a minute, but I've got a little bit of range time with the suppressor, so I figured it was time to do my past initial review because I wanted to wait until I was able to go to the range and get some rounds on each of these cans before I decided to do a review. No firearms in this video. It's only going to be the cans themselves and, as per usual, my Miller Lite. So, we have SUREFIRE RC3, a SANDMAN S, and then the HUXWRX VENTUM 762 running a dead air hub. Now, apparently there's like this whole disclosure about how you got your cans and what your relationship is to companies. I'm gonna let y'all know ahead of time. Whether somebody sends me something, whether I buy it, it's not gonna matter. I am completely okay with pissing off companies. I don't care. But for this thing, every single can, all the hubs, etc., were all bought by me. In the future, again, someone could send me something to review. They can even send me something to review and keep, and I am always going to be myself. If some company's product is shit, it's shit. And I'm going to tell you straight up. Now, I had this, the RC3, obviously running on a 5.56 gun. I ran this on a 308, along with a 7.62 by 39. The Ventum was run on a 308, along with the 7.62 by 39. This was actually, both of these are ran on the Franken rifle. If you watched my previous videos, you've seen it. Both of these are ran on the Franken rifle. This was actually ran on my buddy's PWS. It's marks the M116. Mine was currently getting some work done on it at the time, so this is running on a different gun. Now, as far as impressions for the cans, this can is probably the one that impressed me the most. And actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't a 116. It was the M like 111 something. They're 11.85 inch AR that he had SBR'd, and I put this on there, and I also ran it on my 16 inch, and even on his 11 inch, this can brought it to the point where I could shoot that thing without running any kind of ears, and it wasn't uncomfortable to shoot. I wouldn't do that for an extended period of time. If you're going to be doing like a full day of training, I would not. Obviously, don't shoot any gun suppressed, unsuppressed, without any kind of ear protection. It will destroy your hearing. Trust me, I know. But even then, if you're doing hunting, if you decide that you're hunting something using 223, 5.56, whatever the case may be, taking 1-2 shots, this will do it. Especially if you're running an AR platform and you don't want to have to redo your buffer sprayings or change buffer rates, all that kind of stuff. This will do it. I was very, very impressed by this. It had a deeper tone than one of the other suppressors, specifically this one, but I'll get to that later. It had a deeper tone, which made it a lot more tolerable. And yeah, it was a dream to shoot. But yeah, that is the RC3. I cannot recommend this thing enough as far as 5.56 and 223 cans. I could not recommend you getting an RC3 enough. On to the next can. I'm gonna go to another flow through just because I started off with flow through. So next flow through, Ventum 762. Now this can, I was a little underwhelmed by this. It had a very snappy, very cracky tone to it, and again, running the 7.62 by 39 was the first round I put through this thing, and while I could, if I wanted to, I could keep on putting rounds through, because I did each one of these without ears on just to actually see what it sounded like. I would not continue running this can without ears because it was loud enough to where it did make it very uncomfortable. Now, maybe if I was, maybe for like the 308s, because the 308 that I ran it on, along with this can, had a 24-inch barrel, and it was that Tika I have. It was a little bit, it was more tolerable there, but on my Tika, if you're running a 24-inch barrel on a gun, unless you're running like a semi-auto 6.5 Creed or a semi-auto 300 Win Mag or like 300 Norma Mag or something like that, which would be weird to run semi-auto. There's not really a use for this at that area. This is more so you're going to run 308 on an AR platform, which, in all honesty, when SUREFIRE comes out with their 7.62 variant, I'm probably not going to use this thing anymore. As long as their 7.62 RC3 is up to par. But this thing was very, very snappy as far as sound went, going on both the 7.62 by 39 Franken rifle and the Tika. It was very, very, very snappy, which I probably put 2 or 3 rounds and then I put my ears back on. But other than that, you got your normal spark from running a titanium can for the first couple hundred rounds, and then it died off after that. After all the machining shavings just kind of got sent out the barrel or sent out the front of the suppressor. That died off, and at that point it did what a suppressor is supposed to do: mitigate its flash suppression along with sound mitigation. So it did what it was supposed to do. So as far as that goes, I got no complaints. I would recommend running a different can over this, though. That's just my personal opinion. If you got the money to spend, get a different can. Last one is the SANDMAN. So this one I was actually very impressed with. I put this on the Tika, and after firing off that first round, because that first rounds I ran with all these guns, the first round I put out was with the ear pro on, and then after that I took the ear pro off just to see what it sounded like. Also did all point A and point A impact shift between suppressed and unsuppressed. I think the most I had was from this thing. There was about a 1 MOA shift on this one. This one was about 1.5 minutes. This one was about an MOA shift. So they weren't bad, and they were consistent across the board. So if I put it on, when I had it on the Tika, each one of these on that shorty, when I put this one on there, zero to the made sure the actual rifle was zeroed, shot a group, put the can on there, shot, saw the shift, took the can back off, put it back on, shot it. It was at the same area. So it was about a 1 MOA shift that was consistent. Except, again, this one had about a minute and a half, but it still was consistent. So I will give that to the HUXWRX. But this one I was very, very impressed with. I was expecting, your standard fighting suppressor style of suppression, where you would hear a lot of crack to it, but it would take out flash and then just kind of do something to help out with the sound. But on the contrary, I put this thing on the front of that Tika, especially the Tika. I put it on the front, and the rest of the day that I was running that Tika, because I put about, 150, 200 rounds to that Tika that day. The rest of the time I was running it, I still got carbon inside there. I didn't even run ears because this thing worked that well. I know there's a lot of people that complain about SANDMANs, saying that they are mediocre suppressors for what they are. I beg to differ. This thing ran great. The only thing that I will probably do to improve it is still get that flash cap. Outside of that, the cam was amazing. So, but still, if I were to sit here and rank the three, as far as what I would recommend, again, I'm just another guy that has a cam that shoots them every so often. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But if I were to recommend cans in order of what I would say, hey, get this for your gun, I would say either the SANDMAN, and I know I was talking mess about the HUXWRX, but there still is a place for it. If you're running a lot of AR platforms, I would say HUXWRX. If you're not going to run a lot of AR platforms, you're doing a lot of bolt guns, SANDMAN. So depending on which one, number 1 and number 2, or number 1 and number 2. So depending on that. Number 3, the only reason I'm putting RC3 in the third spot is because of the fact that it is 5.56 dedicated. If you have a 30 cal can, then there is the issue of HUXWRX not having a 5.56 cap. But if you're running a 30 cal cam, especially like SANDMANs or dead airs, and you put a 5.56 cap on it, you're good to go. And you can cover all your bases with it. If you're going to run 5.56 only, RC3. RC3 all day. Or you can go the RC2, SB2. Those are phenomenal cans. But it's just the lower back pressure plus less gas in your face that helps out a lot with this. But yeah, these things performed great. No serious complaints. Again, just a little bit more cracky noise out of this. But then again, when it comes to suppressors, the main thing is sound mitigation and flash suppression. Or signature reduction in general. So they all did what they needed to do with the HUXWRX. Again, if you're getting any kind of titanium can, just make sure you go out and you put a good couple rounds through it just to burn off that milling titanium, and you'll be good to go. If y'all have any other kind of questions, you want some more detailed info on any of these, because this is just an overview kind of thing. If you want any more info, you have any questions, just go ahead and drop that down in the comments. I appreciate y'all dropping by. Y'all have a good day.